Welcome to Pretty Lies and Alibis. Let's seek the truth and travel the long road to justice together. What you know, Alibiers? Happy Tuesday from Boise, Idaho. I've been here since Sunday night. I have to say, I already love this town. It's cold as all get out, y'all. And I don't watch any of the hits I do back because it's really weird. But everybody who knows me has texted me and was like, girl, you look like you were having convulsions that first day. I've never been so cold in my life, but it's supposed to warm up. It's been nice to see some snowflakes, though. A lot of you guys have donated to me, and on the next episode, I'm going to go through and thank you individually. But I just want to say a big thank you. You guys are amazing to me. I appreciate your generosity more than you know. All right, music fact of the day, and we're going to jump in. Cyndi Lauper, one of my favorite female singers. She was the first woman to get 4 hit songs on her debut album. Those 4 songs, Girls Just Want to Have Fun, Time After Time, She Bop, and All Through the Night. All 4 amazing songs. So here's what I'm going to do tonight. This is not going to be a long episode. There's just not a ton really to talk about, but I do have some interesting observations. And first off, it was really weird walking into that courthouse yesterday for day 1 of jury selection, even though we're not in the courtroom with Lori. You know, it was a really heavy feeling because it made JJ, Tylee, Tammy, and Charles a lot more real to me. Even though they've always seemed real, you're walking into a building where you're going to hear really bad things that happen to these awesome humans. And so I thought about them a lot yesterday, and just that we're finally here, at least with Lori's case. We still have Chad's to go. She still has charges in Arizona for conspiracy, but we're getting started. And that's a really good feeling for justice, for the victims, the living victims, and everybody who's been touched by this terrible, terrible crime. So what's the overflow room like? I've had a lot of people inbox me and ask. I have inboxes. I will get to them eventually, y'all. So we are in a courtroom that is fairly large, and whoever is sending us coffee every day, y'all are the real MVPs. I love y'all because we have coffee all day available to us in the back. It hasn't been crowded. I would say at the highest point, maybe 40 people, but by the afternoon, there's maybe 20 of us, if that. And it's very laid back. All the press here, super amazing, nice. Just as with Murdoch, it's a collaboration. If I didn't hear something, I asked somebody, they're happy to give me the answer, and vice versa. Got to meet Justin Lum, who is just a sweetheart, and got to see Nate again. I met him at CrimeCon, y'all. Today, when I'm walking across the street to go get ready to do my morning thing, I see Nate with his phone, and he's getting the bus that has Lori go by. And in true Nate fashion, he's talking to the camera, but he's also waving at Lori. I love it. I wonder if she just sees him and is like, there he is again. He's everywhere. So we can't see great. So how it is, it's a pull down screen. If you could imagine, like in a high school class back in the 90s when they would pull down that projector screen, that's what we're watching on. And then they have 3 squares. 1 square is centered on the prosecution table. 1 square is centered on the judge, and the 3rd square is on the defense table. And so we can't really see Lori clearly, but we can see what she's doing and things like that. There was one point today where it was just that square briefly on the screen, and we were all like, wait, no, leave it. But so, we're not allowed up in that courtroom. Only prospective jurors are. Now, yesterday, 17 passed through to the next round, and today we got 13. Because we're up to 30, I believe. Is it 30? Yeah, I think we're up to 30 with that last group. So we only need 12 more to qualify to go through. And I think we could get that tomorrow, y'all. I really do think that this could go a little faster than what we anticipated. At the end of the day today, Rob Wood said he felt very rushed today. And I believe he was wanting to not bring in as many jurors tomorrow. Judge Boyce said, no, we're going to keep going. We have people out there now that are kind of in a holding pattern. He doesn't want potential jurors to get tainted. So he wants to get this jury selection over with. I couldn't agree more. So yesterday we were not allowed to see individual questioning with the prospective jurors about their, exposure to media saturation, to the documentaries and the endless specials on this case. But today we were allowed to, after it was brought up that it makes no sense. So what are some of the questions that they're asking these jurors? Well, for the state, one of their go-tos is, tell me what brutal honesty is. And then as we go through this jury selection process, they want the jurors to be brutally honest, because Lori ultimately, in the end, has a right to a fair trial. Then they go on to a scenario. So two of the main questions that the state asks: number one, do you think you will be able to convict without a cause of death? So that tells me potentially they were unable to find a cause of death for Tylee. I know with Tammy Daybell, when her kids were on 2020, I believe Garth said they were told asphyxiation. So I'm assuming Tylee, with the condition her remains were in, maybe they just never were able to nail down how exactly she was murdered. The other question is circumstantial evidence, which leads me to believe there's nothing DNA wise on her, that it's going to be a lot of text messages, a lot of showing the conspiracy. So the other example they give is, you see a little kid and he's got cookie crumbs and maybe some chocolate or something on his mouth. Do you have to see him eat the cookie to think maybe he ate a cookie? Most people say no. We did have one that said, well, yeah, I might need to see it. So those are two revealing things, I think, that you can kind of maybe theorize about some of the issues the trial may run into. Although I think these jurors, they seem very unaffected by the case, I have to say. It seems like the 30 that we have really don't know much. And then there have been a few who claim to not know much, and then it comes out they did. And then they're let go. Can you apply only the laws the court tells you to consider, in spite of what you may have seen on CSI or what your opinions are? You're going to have to follow the law that this judge gives you as far as when you're considering the evidence. Another thing they ask: laws may be different with what you think or want it to be versus what the court says. Will that be hard for you? Most people say no. They'll ask, do you know the defendant? Do you have any pending civil action, any pending criminal complaint against Lori? Or has any prosecutor in this case ever brought charges against you? It's been a no every time. They also ask about any relationships with any of the attorneys or their staff. They'll name off who is in their firm or who their colleagues are, and they'll just list the partners, and potential jurors will say yay or nay. And I haven't had anybody really, I don't think, say that they've had a case brought. We have had some potential jurors who work in the criminal justice system. So it'll be interesting to see who we finally get. A lot of people were dismissed for pretrial exposure today, and also for hardship. Just the fact that now they're saying this could be an 8-week trial. That's 2 weeks longer than Murdaugh, y'all. So some people just can't do it, whether they're caregivers or they're just not going to be able to be off work. I'm trying to look through here. This is a little bit kind of put together at the last minute. It's a little hard sometimes with jury selection because there's not a lot of substance. Lori, oh yeah, the obvious. Okay, so what's her demeanor like? It's like a flip on a switch with her. She's not doing this grinning kind of carefree la la land demeanor. She is focused. She is writing notes. She is talking with both attorneys. She will listen intently and look at jurors as they're talking. She'll make notes about it. Sometimes she will show her attorney the notes she just wrote. So I think that maybe this has gotten very real for her, and it's not a show, and there are no cameras. And the only people watching mainly are media. So was she playing it up for the cameras? Maybe. We still should be able to watch it live, but I'll leave it there. That legal pad, though, she definitely is in that a good bit during the day. A lot of people just don't know about this case in great detail. Some people know the name. I haven't really heard of anybody who did not just flat out know anything, maybe one, but for the most part, people know who she is, but a lot of people say, hey, look, I just don't really watch the news. The best one today for us was a guy who said, I'm just into nerd things. And the judge was like, define nerd things. And he's like, well, anime and gaming and computers. And we all were like, he's perfect. He's perfect to sit in on this jury. He has nothing to do with true crime. So how's this going to work? When we get to 42, the process stops. Then each side has 12 strikes they can use for 24. So 24 of the 42 will be gone. That will leave us with our 12 sitting jurors and our 6 alternates. We saw in Murdoch in a 6-week trial, we got down to 1 alternate. I'd feel a little more comfortable if they threw a couple of more on there, but I'm not the prosecution. I'm not the judge. So I'll leave that up to them. 12 more is all we need. I do think we could get that tomorrow. A lot of them were asked, did you watch the Netflix series on this case? People said no. Some observations. Chad's attorney, John Pryor, sat in most of the day yesterday on jury selection. He was there briefly this morning. I didn't see him very long. He was a very nice man. I said hello to him. He wears Doc Martens with his dress pants, by the way. Never struck me as that kind of guy. And I just had the pleasure of meeting up with some alibis for pizza. And it was so much fun, y'all. So big thank you to everybody who showed up. And it was great to meet people who support me by listening. And Lori Hellis got this together. And I had the best hour and a half meeting everybody. So if you're watching, y'all made my night. I really do appreciate it. Now, the interview with Kay and Larry that I did last week has been airing in snippets. I'm supposed to be getting these links soon. I will post everything up as soon as I can. So what is outstanding? Well, we still don't know Judge Boyce's ruling about Kay and Larry. So I'm imagining that should come down in the next day or two. I really do think we're going to have our 42 tomorrow. And I don't know how long it's going to take to go through and do the strikes and that kind of thing. But I really do think Judge Boyce is ready to just get this show on the road. And I'm glad because it's been a long time coming, y'all. So that's kind of it from Boise right now. It's just a lot of questions, and they will dismiss jurors that, will say, hey, yeah, the other thing is if people answer on that questionnaire that they have kids around the same age as JJ and Tally, they will ask them, you are going to see what they call sensitive autopsy pictures, things like that. Is that going to keep you from being able to be fair and impartial towards Lori? A couple of people kind of hesitated and said that it would be hard. One woman said, I would just picture my son, but I can be impartial. I do think where we're at now, we will get a good jury. These people seem like they are eager to serve on this case. And I really do think that we've got a solid group of people that will listen to the facts. And we know a lot of the facts, and a lot of these people don't. So I feel very confident by the end of this journey, which could go as long as 8 weeks, that justice will be served. And then we've got one down. And then Chad, Lori still has the charges in Arizona. And, it's just, this is the start. This is the start of it all. And this is what we've been waiting on for 3+ years. And I'm just so honored to be here and to bring it to you for the podcast and for Law and Crime. Randomly, I'm doing 8 a.m. hits here, which is 10 o'clock East Coast time, so 8 o'clock Mountain time. Then I'll do around 12 o'clock hit when the trial starts. I do believe we're going to do the hour-long Q&A at lunch, which I'm looking forward to. I know you guys are going to have a lot of questions. If you're local and planning on attending the trial, say, hey, holler at me. I want to meet all you guys. And thank you in person for supporting this podcast. But yeah, so this is not a long, involved thing, 15 minutes, but I wanted to give you a little bit of an idea. So in the media room, everybody's on their laptops. There have been a handful of locals who have come in to watch, but for the most part, just us Lone Rangers in there, the few that are left at the end of every day. I do think once openings are set, then we will see a big influx of other news stations coming to cover that. But for now, I am thoroughly enjoying the experience of watching jury selection and getting to know the court staff, getting to know the other journalists in the room, just a great group all around. And so let's get this show on the road and get some justice for JJ, Tammy, Tylee, and even though he's not in this case, Charles, because he is her victim too. All right, guys, I'm going to bed to do it all again tomorrow. I will be live tweeting. If you don't have Twitter, if you go to prettyliesandalibis.org, I have my Twitter feed there. You don't have to sign up. You can just scroll through and keep up with the live tweeting there. And I will be doing that throughout the trial, because the one thing Judge Boyce is allowing are laptops, thank goodness, and coffee in the courtroom, y'all. I've come in every day with two of my coffee cups, so I'm in heaven. All right, guys. Hope you have a good night. We'll see you tomorrow with another episode, and then once these openings and testimony starts, we'll be getting into a very long episode. So I'm cool with making this one short. Y'all have a good night. We'll see you soon. Appreciate all y'all. Bye.